Waheguru Ji Ka Khalsa, Waheguru Ji Ki Fatah. I want to commence by acknowledging we're here on Ngunnawal and Ngambri land. This is First Nations land. And I know the Sikh community understands that connection to country and land and the cultural connections to country and land. Our country does not do a good job acknowledging and respecting First Nations connections to this land. So let's do this together. Let's commit over the next months and years, the works we do, to help build that respect for First Nations peoples and to acknowledge this always was and always will be Ngunnawal and Ngambri land. For organising and attending this event today. Only a few short weeks ago, it looked like it wouldn't happen. And it looked like the politics would again silence the truth. And I feel grateful that there's a relationship of trust between the Sikh community and my office and my party, that we were able to overcome that and to work through the barriers to host today. And as I came into the room a few minutes ago, I felt this sense of we've achieved something just by having this meeting here in Australia's Parliament, in the heart of our democracy, to acknowledge, to commemorate, to speak the truth about the Sikh Genocide in 1984. And I want to commend you all for doing that and having the courage and being here and telling the truth. I do want to acknowledge my federal parliamentary colleagues, those who have spoken, those who may get elected, and those who are bouncing in and out. The lower house today, the House of Representatives, is sitting, and that's what all the bells are about. There's lots of votes happening, democracy in action. The Senate, which I'm a member of, is in endless committees. And I do want to acknowledge my Senate colleague, Steph Hodgins-May, our Green Senator for Victoria. Steph, thanks again for your work and your commitment to human rights. You're always here. Thank you. But all parliamentary colleagues that are here. But why are we doing this? Well, we're doing this because those thousands of lives, thousands of Sikh lives that were lost 40 years ago, must not be forgotten. We're doing this because the truth matters. And if we want to prevent genocide, and surely that should be above politics, surely every political representative should join with us in this task. We need to tell the truth about the past, and when genocide has happened, to name it for what it is. And the Sikh genocide that commenced 40 years ago, that took thousands of Sikh lives, needs to be acknowledged as such. And we know that the Sikh community in India and around the world is facing genuine repression. We've seen Sikh leaders in countries not dissimilar to this, Canada, being assassinated for being representatives of the Sikh community. And I know that the Sikh community is politically diverse, like all other communities. But we should be clear that the assassination was because of his Sikh identity, and an attempted assassination in the United States. And we know that the BJP administration was behind both of those because the United States and Canadian authorities have said as much, and indeed the United States has commenced prosecutions. And I know because I've been speaking with many of you in some now 12 months that's happened since that. And I know how that sense of threat and anxiety has reached into Australia as well. And again, I say, as I came into this room and saw you gathering here in the heart of our democracy, I had this sort of goosebumps that the Sikh community is staying strong, and the Sikh community is standing proud, and the Sikh community will not be silenced. And I can commend you for the strength that you've shown in being here. But I also know the Sikh community for its outreach and core principles. And as a Green senator, I often look at the core principles of the Sikh faith, and I think you stole them from the Greens, or maybe we stole them from the Sikh faith. That might actually be more honest in the time frame. But to tolerate all religions, to reach out and have a core principle of social justice, and we've seen that play out just in the last few years. I've seen Sikh communities around the country reach out during the pandemic and provide food and essential sustenance. I've seen Sikh communities organise and fundraise for flood relief and be there when no one else is there and even government isn't there. Living your principles that my party shares. And I see that commitment to peace. And indeed, I saw it just on Friday at the Glenwood Gurdwara, when the Sikh community reached out a hand of friendship to the Hindu community and celebrated Diwali at the Glenwood Gurdwara. Celebrated it with open arms to acknowledge this amazing multicultural society that we live in, and to live the principles of tolerance and acceptance of other religions. Acceptance, indeed, being a key part of the Sikh faith. Acceptance for difference, acceptance for other religions, to live in a multicultural society and contribute like you do. But to tell the truth requires repeating some awful facts about what happened 40 years ago. The attack on the Golden Temple, the repression that preceded that, the assassination of the Indian Prime Minister, and then the indifference and worse from the state that permitted the genocide and the thousands and thousands of deaths and killings of Sikhs that followed. And the refusal to hold anybody to account for that. Decision makers who permitted it. Decision makers who facilitated it. There has never been accountability and justice. And I know for many of you, this is part of your family story, and we heard it earlier. It's part of your family history. And while ever there's the lack of accountability and the lack of justice, then we all suffer from a lack of justice. I again want to acknowledge the strength and the values of the Sikh community. I am so glad to be here with you in my workplace to share the heart of Australia's democracy with you all. I look forward to continuing to work with you, and I look forward to politicians from across politics acknowledging the fact of a genocide, acknowledging the work of political leaders. Yes, to work across society, and yes, to work in our multicultural society, but never to deny the truth. Again, I finish. This is Ngunnawal and Ngambri country. This is First Nations land. There is so much truth-telling to be done in this country, and you're doing part of that today. Thank you very much.